Once, in a small town, there was a boy named Daniel. Daniel was a dreamer, always gazing at the stars and imagining a life far beyond his humble beginnings. Born into a family that struggled to make ends meet, Daniel's life was filled with challenges. His parents worked long hours, often in jobs that barely paid enough to cover the bills. Despite their hard work, their dream of giving their children a better life seemed out of reach. Daniel was determined to change the course of his life, but it wasn't easy. At school, he was often teased for his old clothes and his worn-out shoes. He didn't have the latest gadgets like the other kids, and sometimes he didn't even have enough lunch money. Yet, every time he faced a setback, he held on to one thought: one day, I will make something of myself. His dream was simple: to create a life where he could help his family and give back to his community. But dreams, Daniel soon learned, don't come easy. They require sacrifice, persistence, and most of all, faith. As Daniel grew older, he became more focused on his dream. However, the road to success was not paved with gold. He faced failures and rejections at every turn. After high school, he decided to pursue a degree in engineering, but his financial struggles intensified. He worked multiple part-time jobs to pay for his tuition. At night, he would study, exhausted but determined. He often slept for only a few hours, his body aching from the day's work. One day, after a long day of classes and work, Daniel received a letter that would change the course of his life. It was from one of the top tech companies in the country, an internship offer. The email said, "We are impressed by your application and would like to offer you an internship position with our company." Daniel couldn't believe it. This was his big break, the moment he had been waiting for. But there was a catch. The internship was unpaid. Without hesitation, Daniel accepted. He knew this was his chance to prove himself, even if it meant sacrificing more comfort and working even harder. The first few weeks at the internship were brutal. Daniel was surrounded by highly talented individuals, many of whom had better backgrounds, better connections, and more resources than he did. But Daniel had something that they didn't: determination. He was willing to work harder than anyone else. He stayed late at the office, asking questions, learning new skills, and improving his work every day. But success didn't come overnight. In fact, Daniel's journey was full of setbacks. There were moments when he felt like giving up. On one occasion, his team was working on a project that required him to solve a complex problem. He struggled for hours, unable to find a solution. Doubt began to creep in, and he wondered if he was cut out for this line of work. It was at this moment, after hours of frustration, that his mentor, Sarah, noticed his struggle. She walked over to him and said, "Daniel, the best engineers don't give up when they hit a wall. They find a way to break through it. You have the skills, but you need to trust yourself. Remember, every challenge is an opportunity to grow." That advice stayed with Daniel. He didn't give up. He kept pushing, learning from his mistakes, and improving. Slowly but surely, his hard work began to pay off. His manager noticed his dedication, and soon, Daniel was entrusted with more significant projects. The company began to see his potential, and eventually, they offered him a full-time position. Daniel's life changed forever. He was no longer that boy from the small town who had struggled to make ends meet. He had built a career that not only fulfilled his dreams, but also allowed him to help others. He used his position to mentor younger students, offering internships and scholarships to those who, like him, were trying to make a better life for themselves. As Daniel's career continued to flourish, He never forgot where he came from. He used his success to give back to his community, investing in local businesses, supporting education, and providing opportunities for those who didn't have the same advantages he had. He started a foundation to help underprivileged students gain access to higher education, just as he had. Daniel's story became an inspiration to countless others. He had gone from struggling in a small town to becoming a successful engineer. But it was his perseverance, hard work, and belief in himself that made the difference. He knew that the key to success wasn't talent or luck, it was the will to never give up. Daniel's journey is a reminder that no matter where you come from or how many obstacles you face, perseverance is the key to success.